Hello everyone, wishing everyone a new day full of joy and happiness. Have you ever held a tiny shirt in your hand, then suddenly smiled when imagining the face of a little angel who has not yet been born? That feeling, both nervous, happy, and sacred, is exactly what CEO Alex and Tuna are experiencing. The special thing is that although this is Tuna's second pregnancy, the emotions are still as complete as the first time. The eyes still sparkle with joy when choosing each pretty little dress, but for Alex, this journey is completely new. The first time he is preparing for the role of father, the nervousness, mixed with pride and love, is evident in every thoughtful gesture he makes for Tuna. The moment Alex smiles when he sees the tiny woolen hat, or Tuna's eyes sparkle when she puts her hand on the fluffy dress, those are images that make the viewer's heart flutter, and today, you will be with them, witnessing the whole journey of this bursting happiness. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to follow the next episodes. Early morning, the rooster crowed at the end of the village. The sun had just risen above the treetops, but Alex was already at the wood workshop. He walked quickly, his face a little tense, as if he was afraid of missing something important. The smell of freshly sawed wood wafted through the air, the sound of cutting machines clattering along with the busy rhythm of the workers. As a CEO, he could have sat in the office and waited for reports. But Alex always wanted to personally check the batch of wood before leaving the factory. He leaned over, touched each board, his eyes carefully observing every detail. That was the meticulousness of a man used to living a responsible life. But this morning was different. Every time he looked at the clock, his heart beat faster. He knew Tuna was at home, her belly round, waiting for him to come home so they could go shopping together to prepare for their little one. Although this was Tuna's second pregnancy, Alex, this was the first time he had lived in the role of a father. That feeling of excitement, mixed with anxiety, made him unable to stay still in the workshop for long. Finally, when the work was done, Alex quickly left. The car sped along the familiar road, carrying with it a sense of haste but also full of anticipation. The doorbell rang as Alex and Tuna entered the store. The space was bright, with rows of small, neat clothes, pristine white cradles, and shoes as small as the palm of a hand. Alex looked around with delight, and Tuna paused slightly. In that moment, memories suddenly flooded back. In the past, when she was pregnant with Henry, she had never entered a warm place like this. At that time, her marriage broke down. She was kicked out of her ex-husband's house, empty-handed, her belly heavy with no place to rely on. Tuna had once wished to choose for her son, just once, a new shirt, a small toy, but that simple thing was still too far away. Her eyes were slightly filled with tears, but at that moment, Alex's hand held hers, warm and steady. He didn't say much, just smiled, as if to say that the past was over. Now only happiness was waiting ahead. Tuna nodded slightly, breathing lightly. A strange feeling arose in her heart: gratitude, respect, and trust. This time, she was not alone. In the warm space of the store, Alex slowly walked between the shelves of small, pretty items. Everything here surprised and confused him. Tiny shirts that were only the size of a hand, socks smaller than a toe, and a white cradle that smelled of new wood. He reached out to pick up a baby shirt, then chuckled softly. I never thought humans could be so small. Tuna stood next to him, looking at him with gentle eyes. To her, that scene was extremely special. A man who was only familiar with wood, machines, and contracts, now attentively looked at a tiny shirt, his eyes filled with love. Alex carefully placed the shirt in the shopping cart, as if he were placing a treasure. He didn't say much, but Tuna clearly felt the vibration in each of her husband's clumsy actions. It was the moment of a first-time father, both strange and sacred. When passing the shoe section, Alex stopped. Before his eyes were a pair of white woolen shoes, so small that they could fit in the palm of his hand. He picked them up, was silent for a long time, then softly said, I want to buy this pair as the first gift for our child. Tuna looked at her husband, her eyes filled with tears. In that moment, she recalled the past days full of sadness, then compared them to the warm present. Her heart seemed to burst. They both smiled, without needing words, because happiness was wrapped up in those small shoes. The shopping cart gradually filled up. A few sets of clothes, a few scarves, a soft cotton blanket. But for Alex and nhat, each item was not just an item, but also a message of love, a promise that the child about to be born would be welcomed with all the best. The supermarket space became more bustling at this moment. Children's laughter echoed from a corner, the sound of strollers clattering between rows of goods, mixed with the chatter of families who were also busy preparing to welcome their children. In that stream of people, Alex and nhat seemed to be lost in their own small but warm world. Nhat stood in front of the baby clothes stall, her hands gently caressing each soft piece of fabric. She remembered when she was pregnant with Henry. She had never had the chance to stand here, leisurely choosing such lovely items for her child. At that time, in her sadness and loneliness, she had longed for a simple moment like this, just to be a real mother, to take care of her child with all her enthusiasm. At this moment, when her hands touched each small shirt, her eyes were slightly filled with tears. Alex saw the emotion in his wife's eyes. He didn't say much, just quietly approached, reached out to hold her hand, and then chose together. For Alex, everything was new. He was used to managing a wood workshop, working with numbers and contracts, but now he was carefully comparing each type of baby bottle, each cradle, even fumbling because he couldn't tell the difference between two types of towels. That clumsiness made nhat laugh, a clear laugh that seemed to erase all the sad memories of the past. Around, a few people passing by couldn't help but look back. Some mothers smiled affectionately. Someone whispered, "I feel sorry for the husband who takes care of his wife." Those gentle words, seemingly passing by, warmed nhat's heart. For the first time, she clearly felt admiration and sympathy from strangers, something she had never experienced before in her life. The deeper they went into the supermarket, the fuller their shopping baskets became. Newborn clothes, diapers, baby towels, cradles, teddy bears, everything was neatly arranged. But more than that, in each of those items was a message of love and hope. Alex sometimes paused for a long time in front of an item, like a pair of tiny woolen shoes or a cute woolen hat, then carefully put it in the basket, as if he was gradually learning how to be a father through the smallest choices. In the moment when he saw Alex bending down to carefully choose a milk bottle for his child, nhat clearly felt this was the compensation that fate had given her. The years of loneliness, tears, and resentment of the past now turned into smiles and complete happiness. And right in the middle of that crowded supermarket, in the bright lights and bustling sounds, Alex and nhat seemed to have created their own space, a space of love, hope, and the beginning of the journey to parenthood, where all the surrounding looks only made them more proud and cherished this moment.
Mình đang bị cấm chat.